Well done to everybody for making the semi-finals. Hope to see you in the finals and welcome to another episode of the Box Kick Rugby Podcast.
Merci de suivre un autre épisode du Box Kick Rugby Podcast.
Sulla strada per il weekend delle semifinali, buona fortuna a tutti i ragazzi e le ragazze che partecipano e benvenuti al Box Kick Rugby Podcast.
Semana de semifinales en los Emiratos Árabes Unidos. Buena suerte a todos los jugadores y equipos y bienvenidos a otro episodio del Box Kick Rugby Podcast.
أخيراً إنه عطلة نهاية الأسبوع لنصف النهائي في رياضة الرجبي للشباب في الإمارات. حظاً موفقاً لجميع الفرق واللاعبين، وأهلاً بكم في حلقة جديدة من بودكاست بوكس كيك للرجبي. بودكاست مخصص لرياضة الرجبي للشباب في الإمارات، يقدمه الشباب في الإمارات.
準決勝進出おめでとうございます。決勝でお会いできることを願っています。そしてボックスキックラグビーポッドキャストの別のエピソードへようこそ。
Konečně nastal čas na semifinále po celých Spojených Arabských Emirátech. Hodně štěstí všem a vítejte zpět u další epizody Box Kick Rugby podcastu.
सेमीफाइनल वीकेंड के लिए मेरे रास्ते में सभी लड़कों और लड़कियों को शुभकामनाएं जो भाग ले रहे हैं और बॉक्स किक रग्बी पॉडकास्ट में आपका स्वागत है।
Sure, Luke. That was really hard work, learning all those different languages. Thank you to everyone who helped us out, learning all those different words.
Certainly one of the most difficult things I've ever had to do.
Yeah, languages are tough.
Yeah.
Welcome to another episode of the Box Kick Rugby Podcast. Today it is just me and Luke.
Tough week on that poll, on the Instagram poll, losing against Iran again.
I didn't really have a chance. I mean, I don't think many people know this, but you know Ron isn't his actual name, it's Ryan, but he gets the name Ron from his stage name as a model. So that's why you sometimes see Ron in and out of school. One week he's in New York, one week in Tokyo.
And he got offered a movie last week, which he obviously couldn't go because he was in hospital, but he also turned it down because he was told that the script is only guys.
So he said no thanks and moved on.
Yeah.
But he did start a modelling brand of himself, by himself. It's called the Rugby Man. And he's invited a few of us to go model for him.
Yeah.
I mean, you already saw my picture there on the Instagram poll, which all of you voted for on anyway. A little upset, but he didn't just start the fashion label Rugby Man, he also started Rugby Woman. So we have our male rugby players and female rugby players on there. I'm very excited to see what it turns into.
It's quite obvious why he wanted to get into that netball podcast now. It makes sense.
Trying to get connections with all the netball players.
Semi-final weekend started on Friday night where the under-14 B teams played, and one of our future games is Exiles versus the Quins. And obviously I couldn't watch it, I was warming up for my own game, but you were there, what did you think?
14-5 win to the Exiles, very close. It was a good semi-final. Starting with the Quins, we had Janku van Niekerk at number 10, he kicked really well. We had Elijah Laufs, who was playing number 8, quite a big number 8, and he gave them a lot of forward momentum. And then we had Blake Halikari, who was their fullback and was possibly one of the best players on the pitch that night. But overall, Exiles were able to overpower them and win the game. For the Exiles, Alex Rankmore, Harry Storr and Hassin Al-Musawi had a great effect on the game and led to their overall qualification into the finals. And then the next feature game we had was actually Luke's game, where it was Sharks under-19 versus the Colts, Canes under-19. Yeah. What was your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, it was a forwards-based game, so backs didn't get much ball for both teams. Everything was down the middle. We were on our line for most of the game. We didn't have much ball, so we were lucky to come out with the win. 19-7 was the score. We were on our line for legit the whole first half. We had 2 minutes of ball in that first half. And a player that stood out for me, that always stands out when we play Sharks, is Joe Wright. Yeah. He's tactical kicking, even though he switched positions this game, he plays 10, but he played 9 this time. And I thought him changing positions last minute, and he still played very well. You know, quick ball, getting the forwards up, you know, it was very hard to defend. They were on a line constantly, but it was great defense by the Canes. I would say Sharks definitely dominated set piece on the lineouts, but scrums was kind of equal. You know, Canes also we think we got 2 yellow cards and a red card. So yeah, I'm just very happy to come up with the win.
And then, other than the man of the match, Joe Wright, who else do you think played well?
I think for the Hurricanes, definitely a standard was always RJ Baker. But I think for this game, even though he got a yellow card, despite the yellow card, his physicality and everything is Akshay Bijou, a friend of mine, the Hurricanes. He's very tough. He plays prop, big boy, big hits. He's always the one to put in the big hits in every game. And if you were available for that game, I think the two of you would have combined it very well.
Well, hopefully I get to play with him in the final. And then the next feature semi-final that we covered was on the Saturday, where Warriors under-13 versus Tigers under-13 took place. Monk went to go watch the game, and you know from morning trainings, it can get very foggy there at desk.
A wonderful, cool, extremely foggy start to the exciting semi-final weekend across UAE youth and mini rugby. I don't know if you can see, the players are trying to warm up somewhere between where I am and the halfway line, and very, very foggy. I don't think I've seen this amount of fog. Not sure if we're going to have a start.
So the Warriors and Tigers game was a very close match, even though in the first half of the game they led up
17-0.
because of Sam Jolenstein's dominance, carrying through the line.
Yeah, making big impacts at set piece, stealing lineouts, winning scrums, making big tackles, scoring 2 tries for them.
So everyone thought that the game was lost after that, but
Warriors
brilliantly, Warriors came back. And one of the players that we thought played really well was Elliot Davidson.
He's a newcomer to rugby, so shout out to you.
Sure, but for a new guy, he played extremely well.
Yeah,
but I think for Warriors, very hard guy to miss out on, and a guy who played the game of his life was Louis Jack.
Yeah.
Played a brilliant game there.
You know, after being 17-0 down, they actually came back and to come 17-14. Warriors was on their line, we're going to score, and they lost the ball. And the Tigers scored a beautiful try for the 24-14. So very close game.
Then our final feature game, semi-final for this weekend, was the game of the weekend, with the players of the weekend and the ref of the weekend. Quins versus Hurricanes B under 16. It was a very close game. It ended 22-21
to the Hurricanes.
It was a tough match.
Yeah, I have to agree, this was the game of the weekend. It definitely didn't look like a Canes B team. I mean, this is one of the best games I've seen them play, and it was just a lovely game to watch. So for the Quins, I thought always with his speed, with his tackling, he's always a hard guy to defend. Jake Davies played well at 15, and he definitely scored a couple tries for them. I think he scored 2. It was beautiful to watch him play. It's always nice to watch him play with his speed. And a newcomer to rugby, again, Steve Zammer, who recently moved from American football, and you know, he was amazing.
Yeah, and then I think also on the Hurricane side, Lucas Sanderson, grade at 10, good decision making. And then also Liam Flugel had the tackling performance of his life. To be honest, it was a very tough game for both sides because it was a hot day. We had players coming off because they were throwing up because of the heat. It was tough, and it was definitely a good representation of what a semi-final should be. You could have guessed that was a final.
Yeah.
Because they were playing so hard.
Yeah, and I think some people for the Canes A team must watch their backs now.
Yeah.
Because this B team's coming.
Now the semi-final we feature is the Canes versus Warriors under 12 semi-final, and it was an absolute masterclass from Z and Gatarua and ended in 55-7 to the Canes.
part of our feature match, but it was lovely to see women's 15s. You know, I haven't seen that in UAE in a bit, where Hurricanes and Exiles joined to make a side called the X-Canes versus a strong Harlequins girls team. You know, they were very strong. We knew they were going to come on the win, 33-12. But it was just so nice to watch a lovely broadcast with lovely commentary.
Yeah, it was broadcasted on YouTube, and I have to agree, the commentary for that game was quite exceptional.
Yeah.
One of the players we would like to highlight was Hannah Taylor, who just had a gutsy and incredible performance there in the X-Canes. And then also Adia Kotsia.
Coming the side here. Oh, nice straight run. Look at that, straight back up through the middle inside the 22. Meeting the attackers. It's out wide again, going laterally. Oh, she's so close to the line. Some great defense here from the Quins. Pick up the force. Oh, and a great set up side. She's gone back in the open side and the ball's been spread fast, so X-Canes. Oh, huge, a great hit there. Oh, gone up. Brisbane's allowed to play on. Oh, nice little switch of an angle, and oh, what a run.
Now moving on to lessons from the laws for this week. We had 2 Instagram polls up, and the first one was about lineouts and whether or not players could lift early before the hooker threw the ball, and
Half of you guys got that right.
where you clearly cannot lift before the hooker is thrown.
And on the second poll, we asked whether opposition players must stand on a conversion kick. And the rule is pretty simple, that you must stand behind the try line. If you want to contest for the ball, as the runner comes in, you can go. But I think it's quite obvious you must stand behind the line.
Just on that, I want to talk about the referee for the Canes and Quins game, where the Canes B1. The referee there he impressed me so much, because obviously during that hot day you don't really want to run back to your try line and contest for the ball, so he actually told the players, go to the sideline, have a drink of water, rehydrate.
Yeah. We had boys vomiting, so I think he just used his common sense, which is quite nice to see.
I think the ref's name was Neil, and I must say I had great respect for him, because I think he's one of the fittest refs in the UAE, running around in that heat, making great decisions. It was tough, but he did it well. Now for the rest of this episode, we would like to share some of our training programs for different days of the week, as some of you have asked us. And feel free to copy and paste anything that we do. The next few episodes will also be based around that.
Yeah.
So if you would like to watch, please enjoy. Otherwise, we bid you farewell, and if you're gonna kick anything or anyone,
Make it a box kick.
thank you.
Sam, please tell people what it is that you're going to be doing with these two legs with that pump system connected to it.
Well, basically, my very sore legs are going to go into these, and it's going to be a deep tissue massage and will help me recover my legs. I recommend this during off-season, pre-season, just in-season in general, to use these because then I can quickly recover and then train again. So you're going to put your leg in and then zip it up fully. Same thing, put your leg in. I'm going to set it on mode 2 for rapid recovery for 20 minutes on pressure 145. Let's go. What it's going to do now is it's going to apply deep tissue pressure from all the way from my toes all the way up to my hips. I don't think I can buy a massage like this anywhere in the world. I think my toes are going blue.
Okay, Sam, do you still do any ice baths? And if so, how often?
I still do full body ice baths from time to time. I've got this new ice machine where you can apply it anywhere on your body and ice it and give you compression. This is also amazing for recovery. The good news is the Box Kick Rugby have this for both hire and purchase, and you can directly email us if you would like to try. And I'm going to show you how it works in a minute. So the ice water will run through this pad, and using the compression bands, you will compress it around the affected area. Today I will be doing my knee. So instead of using a traditional ice bath where you have to buy lots of ice, you can use one of these where you only have to put in a little bit of ice, or one or two of these ice packs, and you just put it in the water. So after putting the ice in, you need to close the lid. I'm applying the ice circulating pad over my knee, and I will now strap it. This device is also good for any post-surgery purposes. Let's rock and roll. Rest, ice, compression and elevation all in one place. Try beat this, Ron.
Okay, just easy.